In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important parts of university writing, and that's how to write better paragraphs. When students think about improving their essays, they often focus on grammar and referencing and trying to sound more academic. These things matter, but one of the biggest differences between a weak essay and a strong essay is the paragraph structure. A paragraph isn't just a block of text. It's not just a place where we put a few sentences and ideas before moving on. A good paragraph has a purpose. Each paragraph should develop one main idea and help move the essay and the argument forward. If your paragraphs are unclear, your argument will feel unclear. If your paragraphs are well structured, your writing will immediately become more easy to follow, more persuasive, and more professional. A common mistake that students make is trying to put too many ideas into one paragraph. For example, a paragraph might begin discussing leadership, but then move to communication, and then move to workplace culture, and then finish by talking about employee motivation. These are all related topics, but if they're not clearly connected, the reader can become lost. A strong paragraph focuses on one central point. A useful way to think about paragraph structure is this: point, evidence, explanation, link. First, make your point. This is often called the topic sentence. A topic sentence tells the reader what the paragraph is about. For example, effective communication is essential to successful project management. That sentence there clearly introduces the idea of the paragraph. The reader knows essentially what to expect. Contrast that with a weaker opening. This weaker opening might be, there are many things that are important in project management. Now, what's the difference there? Well, the sentence is broad. It doesn't tell the reader what the paragraph is really about. Strong topic sentences require direction. They act as signposts. They tell the reader where the paragraph is going. Secondly, provide evidence. This evidence might come from academic sources, case studies, research finding, policy, data sets, whatever. But evidence supports the points that you're making. For example, research on project failure often identifies poor communication as a main cause of delays, budget problems, and stakeholder disagreement. Well, this gives the paragraph support. This shows that the point is not just a personal opinion. Thirdly, explain the evidence. And it's this third point really where students often lose marks. Students include evidence, but they don't explain what it means. Remember, a piece of evidence is not analysis. If you include a fact, a quotation, a statistic, you need to explain why it matters. Why have you chosen to include that in your essay? For example, this matters because communication problems can prevent teams from understanding priorities, identifying risks early, and coordinating their work effectively. Now, what's happening here? Now the paragraph is doing more than presenting information. It's analyzing the significance of that information. This is where what I call the so what question comes to play and comes especially important. After every main point you make, after every main argument you put forward, ask yourself, so what? Why does this matter? How does what I've said here support my argument? What does this show? What would the reader understand from this? The strongest paragraphs do not simply describe, they explain. And then finally, link the paragraph back to the essay question or the main argument. A paragraph shouldn't feel disconnected from the rest of the essay. It should clearly contribute to the overall answer. This final sentence connects the paragraph back to the wider argument. So if we tie this together, a strong paragraph might look like this. Effective communication is essential to successful project management. Research on project failure often identifies poor communication, budget problems, or stakeholder disagreement. This matters because communication problems can prevent teams from understanding priorities, identifying risks, and coordinating their work. Therefore, communication is not simply an administrative task. It is central to the project. Now notice there how the paragraph has a clear structure. It makes a point, it supports the point, it explains the point, and then it links the point back to the wider argument. Another mistake that students make writing paragraphs is they write them too long. A very long paragraph can overwhelm the reader. It can contain several ideas that should be separated. If a paragraph is taking up half a page or more, ask yourself, are you trying to do too much? At the same time, paragraphs that are too short can also be a problem. A one-sentence paragraph may make a point, but it doesn't develop it. At the university level, a paragraph usually needs enough space to introduce an idea, support it, and explain it. A useful editing technique is to read only the first sentence of each paragraph. If those sentences don't create a logical flow, your essay might lack structure. Your topic sentences should almost create a mini outline of your argument. Another useful technique is to ask, what is this paragraph doing? Is it defining a concept? Is it explaining a cause? Is it comparing two ideas? Is it giving evidence? Is it analyzing a problem? Is it making a recommendation? If you can't explain what the paragraph is doing, the reader might not be able to either. Good paragraphs improve the professionalism of our writing, not just in the academic environment, but when we get into the world of work. When we get into the workplace, our paragraphs matter. The ability for our audiences to understand the points we're making and the reports that we're writing is essential. And this is why paragraph structure isn't just an academic skill, it's a professional communication skill. So before submitting your next assignment, check each paragraph and ask, does this paragraph have one main idea? Is the first sentence clear? Have I provided enough evidence or explanation? Have I answered Dr. Messenger's so what question? Does the paragraph connect to the essay question or the topic of the report? Does it move the argument forward? Does it help advance the points I'm making? If the answer is no, then go back and rewrite that paragraph. Go and answer those questions. Better paragraphs lead to better arguments that lead to better reports. Strong paragraphs are focused, structured, and purposeful. They don't just describe ideas, they develop them. A good paragraph tells the reader what the point is, who supports the point, why it matters, and how it connects to the wider argument. If you want to do one simple thing to improve your writing, improve your paragraphs. Because strong essays, strong papers are built on one strong paragraph at a time.